Some things never fade, my friend, especially after nightfall. Have you ever wondered what happens when ancient European evil crosses the Atlantic and takes root in untouched soil? When old-world monsters meet America's raw wilderness, where Puritan dread tangles with frontier grit and the essence of vampirism mutates beneath unfamiliar skies. Tonight, we journey not through Transylvania's shadowed castles, but through Salem's colonial graveyards, Louisiana's decaying plantations, the gold rush towns of the Wild West, and the neon veins of our modern cities where deathless hunters stalk beneath electric moons. I am Mr. Folklore, your guide through realms where the undead stride under a new lunar glow. Vampires, not of European aristocracy, but born from American earth. Creatures forged in bondage and liberty, in manifest destiny, and the fractured dream of eternal ambition. From Puritan nightmares to boardroom predators, we'll uncover 10 tales that reveal how the vampire legend transformed into something uniquely and chillingly. These stories echo our oldest fears and our deepest desires. They are the heartbeat of a nation haunted by its own reflection. So subscribe and step with me into the crimson-splattered pages of America's Gothic nightmare. The Mercy Brown Incident, Puritan Vampires, and New England Folk Vampirism. In the harsh winter of 1892, as blizzards cloaked Rhode Island's Exeter in ice, a village's frantic panic sparked a deed so savage it reverberates in Yankee lore to this day. This is Mercy Brown's tale, New England's final vampire, and the grim customs that echoed for 200 years before her. Envision colonial New England's brutal terrain, where Puritan doctrine loomed over settlements battling a merciless wild. In modest rural hamlets, where every soul knew another's flaws, tuberculosis bore a haunting alias. It devoured victims inwardly, rendering them pallid, frail, and fading, as if an unseen entity siphoned their vitality. The Browns of Exeter had interred George Brown's spouse, Mary, before the scourge took daughter Mary Olive in 1888. Yet it was teen Edwin Brown, scarce 19, whose decline spurred desperate acts. As Edwin withered through 1891's chill, eerie reports surfaced in the hamlet. Locals swore Mary Olive roamed the graveyard nocturnally, her shroud fluttering like ragged pinions. Whispers from the Brown plot begged for heat, existence, crimson. Worst, Edwin raved in fever of visions, where his deceased sibling perched on his chest, sapping breath with icy lips that sapped him daily. When Mercy Brown, Edwin's last sister, fell to the devourer in January 1892, village terror peaked. Physician Harold Metcalf, Boston-trained, knew tuberculosis as microbial, but Metcalf's reason warred with ancestral lore, hinting at fouler causes. On March 17, 1892, throngs assembled at Chestnut Hill Cemetery, breaths fogging the frost as they ready to write. Grandparents murmured, but prayed to evade. Guided by Edwin's sire and desperate elders, they unearthed the Brown kin. Mary decomposed as expected. Mary Olive, 4 years gone, bore decay's marks. But Mercy's tomb unleashed gasps. 2 months interred in frost, her form scarcely rotted, skin lifelike pale. Nails seemingly lengthened. Blood trickled from her lips when flipped. "Vampire!" a voice sliced the cold. The mob surged, visages warped by dread and grim resolve. Here lay cause for the plague felling their youth. Evil incarnate, wrought to vanquish. Next came acts to haunt Exeter eternally. Per pre-Christian rite, they excised Mercy's heart and liver, igniting them on a stone. Acrid fumes rose as ashes mixed with water. This grim elixir reached Edwin's bed, father compelling him to swallow his siblings' cinders. The ceremony aimed to shatter the vampire's grip. Yet Edwin perished from tuberculosis 2 months on, murmuring, "She visits still, she pardons us, but she visits." Dr. Metcalf journaled, "Today, I saw superstition unfit for medieval shadows, yet phenomena elude science, and their fear was real, defying logic. Mercy Brown's saga caps New World vampire mythos bred apart from Europe. In New England, vampires weren't noble fiends, but kin risen to sap beloved lives. Intimate nightmares from guilt and despair in isolated hamlets, blind to microbial truths. New England vampirism mirrored pure Yankee woes. Wild's menace, faith versus folklore clash, frontier solitude's horror. Unlike European aliens, these arose from hearth and home, psychologically shattering. Mercy's legend fueled scribes like H.P. Lovecraft, weaving New England's gloom into cosmic dread. Communities cannibalizing kin to preserve remnants recurs in U.S. Gothic. The heart-burning stone endures in Exeter, overgrown. Seekers hunt it. Locals say sub-zero nights bring spectral gleams near the cemetery, a maiden's plea on the gale. Was Mercy vampire or hysteria's prey amid sorrow and folly? Her yarn unveils American soul, betraying our own in mystery's face, rationalizing chaos, blending affection and savagery before mortality. In New England's iced soil, American vampire seeds sprouted in gore and frenzy, branching continent-wide into forms Mercy's tormentors couldn't fathom. Plantation blood, Interview with the Vampire, Anne Rice, and Southern Horror. From the moss-covered graves of New Orleans to the crumbling old mansions in hot, sticky Louisiana, vampire stories reached new levels of deep thinking and style. Anne Rice changed vampires from simple monsters into smart, sad heroes who struggle with living forever. Picture New Orleans in 1791. French charm mixes with island mystery. Church guilt fights wild desires. Life and death blur in the thick, wet air. Here we meet Louis de Pointe-du-Lac, a rich plantation owner. Becoming a vampire makes him question right and wrong, loneliness, and the high cost of never dying. Louis's pain starts when he is still human. His brother Paul sees angels and falls off the roof to his death. Guilt eats Louis alive. He looks for danger in dark streets, hoping to die. In one alley, he meets Lestat de Lioncourt. Lestat is beautiful, but hides an old hunger. He's not just a beast. He can be kind and cruel. He shows how America tempts the old world. You want to die, Lestat says with a French accent shaped by centuries. What if I give you forever, but at a price that makes death look easy? The vampire bite is a close, sexy sharing of blood. It shocked readers in the 1970s and started new rules for vampire books. It is not a rough attack. It feels like sex and a holy moment mixed together. Rice's vampires do not just drink blood. They feel the victim's memories, feelings, and last thoughts, like a strong spiritual link. Living forever makes everything worse for Louis. His senses are too strong. A heartbeat sounds like thunder. The smell of humans drives him crazy. His good heart stays, so every kill hurts his soul. Lestat does not care. He sees people as food. Evil depends on who you ask, my friend. We live forever. There is plenty to eat. Accept it or suffer. Louis and Lestat need each other but hate each other too. They love and fight. Lestat creates Louis but also ruins him. Their house on Rue Royale is like a strange marriage. Arguments, makeups, and raising a child vampire named Claudia. Claudia is stuck as a 5-year-old girl forever, but she grows smart and angry. She is Rice's scariest idea. She makes us ask, what makes us human? Can evil look innocent? How does never growing up change who you are? Claudia is made during a plague. Louis feels alone. Lestat pushes him. He bites a dying child to save her, but traps her as an eternal kid. She depends on her vampire fathers, but hates their control. Claudia tries to kill Lestat with poisoned blood from 2 boys. It almost works. She shocks Louis with her cold plan. Lestat comes back, hurt but alive. The fight breaks their family. Louis and Claudia run to Europe looking for others. In Paris, they find a theater of vampires. These European vampires live together and put on fake deaths for human crowds. Armand leads them. He teaches Louis but wants him for himself. The group sees Claudia as wrong and kills her. The book is told as an interview. Louis talks to a modern reporter. This keeps us a step away from the crimes, but makes his loneliness feel real. The reporter is like us. He asks questions, feels scared and amazed, and still wants to become a vampire even after hearing the pain. This is funny and sad. It shows American overconfidence. We think we can handle anything. Rice makes vampires feel American. They are like immigrants learning new rules. Old nobles now live in a free country. They face new machines and changing ideas. New Orleans comes alive in the story. Its mix of French, Spanish, African, and American ways makes magic feel normal. The vampires show American worries about money, race, and sex. Louis owned a plantation, so what does it mean for a vampire to own slaves? The close male bonds and feeding scenes question old ideas about men and love, just as America was starting to change. Rice gives us thinking vampires. They are not just about death or sex. They ask big questions. What is life for? How do you handle being alone? What will you pay for what you want? Her book started many copycats. New Orleans became the vampire city. Tours, shops, and restaurants all play on the theme. Rice changed how we see vampires. They are deep people, stuck in a world of short lives. They show American ideas pushed too far. Being alone because you want freedom. Endless hunger from chasing fun. And freedom that leaves no meaning. Louis's last words sound like America itself. Young but wise, beautiful but dangerous, full of chances but with a huge price. I tell my story to share, not to teach. The choice is yours. Dust and thirst, near dark and western vampires. When vampires reach the American West, fancy castles turn to dirt and open sky. Old European rules break apart in the huge empty land. Out here, the law is whatever you can make stick. You live by being fast, smart, and mean. Vampire families drive the highways like outlaw gangs. The romance of the open road becomes a never-ending night hunt. Meet the Hooker family. They are not polite Europeans. They are born from American violence. Jesse Hooker became a vampire during the Civil War. He died on a bloody field where brothers killed brothers. A dying vampire nurse in a Confederate tent gave him a second worse life. The family travels in a 1973 Winnebago and an old Cadillac. They follow the dark like twisted farm workers looking for night crops. May is the youngest. She looks like a country singer, but kills like a wild dog. She meets Caleb Colton, a young farm boy from Oklahoma. She wants more than a meal. She wants to add him to the family. Caleb changes in a cheap motel outside Tucumcari, New Mexico. Neon signs promise color TV and cool air. Inside, May bites hard and fast. No gentle European style, just quick, hungry tearing. Life as a Western vampire is hard. No safe castles to hide from the sun. No old tombs to sleep in. They must keep moving. They hide in empty buildings, under bridges, or in desert caves, always running from sunrise and the police. Sever is the meanest. He dresses like an old cowboy but moves with vampire speed and power. He eats without shame. I've been dead 25 years, he says, but I feel most alive when I feed. You city vampires with your fancy guilt. You miss the point. We are the top hunters, and America is the biggest hunting ground ever. They pick easy targets, hitchhikers, runaway kids, workers moving from job to job, people no one will look for right away. Diamondback is the oldest. He remembers when vampires could feed in the open. People blamed Indians or wild animals. Back then, he says, a vampire could rule a mining town for months. Now the police and FBI talk on radios and phones. The modern world makes it tough to be a monster. Caleb and May fall into a dark kind of love. She promises him escape from farm work, adventure on the road, love that never ends. But the price is his soul and helping with the killing. Caleb was raised to protect the weak. In Europe, new vampires follow old rules. In America, you choose what kind of monster you want to be. Caleb cannot stomach killing innocent people. This makes trouble with the family. One night in a roadhouse bar, the vampires attack. The music is loud, the fights are normal, the killing fits right in. Caleb refuses to join. Jesse gives him a choice at an old gas station. You your worry with the family, or we're not family at all. The big ending comes when Caleb's real family, his dad and little sister, track him down. They think he joined a dangerous cult. The fight between humans and vampires stands for old American values against the wild, do-anything frontier. The hookers lose because of plain American smarts and guns. Caleb's father is a Vietnam veteran. He plans like a soldier. Split them up, use their weak spots, hit hard and fast. The last battle is in a burning motel as the sun comes up. The light is both a weapon and a clock running out. May burns in the sunrise, but uses her body to protect Caleb. Her sacrifice gives him time. His father arrives with a blood transfusion that turns him human again. Science beats the supernatural. Near Dark shows Western vampires who are always moving, always violent, and never sure what is right or wrong. They make their own rules like outlaws. They show the dark side of being your own boss with no one to answer to. The desert shapes them into tough, hungry hunters. Cars give them shelter from the sun and a way to run fast. The open road that means freedom to Americans becomes a path to endless hunting. The West was built on blood and pushing people off their land. The chance to start over can also mean leaving your morals behind. In the empty desert, these vampires find the perfect place to hunt, and America finds the perfect monsters to match its wild heart. City of the Dead, I Am Legend, and Science Vampires. In the 1950s, people feared invisible radiation and the end of the world. Vampire stories changed to match those new fears. Richard Matheson's I Am Legend turns vampires into a germ, not magic. The story happens in a ruined Los Angeles that mixes old horror with science fiction. Robert Neville is the last normal human. He locks himself in his house in a quiet suburb as night falls. The city is empty except for vampires. His old neighbors knock on the doors and windows. They call him by name in voices he knows. Come out, Robert, join us. Inside, Neville tries to act normal. He cooks dinner, plays old records, and drinks whiskey to forget he is alone. A worldwide plague started in the 1970s. It gave people all the classic vampire signs. They burn in sunlight, hate garlic and mirrors, and die from a stake in the heart. But Matheson explains it with science. Dust from nuclear bombs woke up an ancient germ. Every morning, after the vampires hide from the sun, Neville goes hunting. He drives his station wagon through empty streets and stakes the sleeping undead. Another day, he says. Another group of neighbors to kill. The joke hurts. The postman, the shop lady, the kids from down the street, they are all monsters now. The vampires remember their old lives. They use those memories to hurt Neville. They shout things only friends would know. Then Ruth appears. She says she is another survivor. For the first time in years, Neville feels hope. They talk, eat, and start to trust each other. But Ruth is hiding a secret that changes everything. Matheson says the plague is a germ that lives with the body. It makes people stronger and faster, but it also changes the brain. Memories stay, but feelings for others disappear. Neville turns his garage into a lab. He catches vampires and tests them, looking for a cure. He learns the germ acts differently in each person. Some can stand a little sunlight. Some are less bothered by garlic. It is not one disease, it is many versions. Being the only human breaks Neville. He is both hunter and hunted. He keeps his mind busy with daily jobs, fixing walls, making steaks, growing food. He plays music to remember what humans made. The music also covers the voices outside. The vampires use his dead wife, S, and daughter, S voices to beg him to open the door. We miss you. Come be with us." His house is a fort. Windows are boarded. Garlic and crosses hang everywhere. It keeps the monsters out, but it also keeps Neville in. Ruth is a vampire, but a new kind. Her group has learned to live in daylight a little. They make fake blood so they do not need to kill. They have rules and a society. To them, Neville is the monster. He hunts them while they sleep. "You are the last of the old world," Ruth says. "We are the future. You kill us in our beds. To our children, you are the scary story." Neville understands too late. He will be remembered as the legend, the killer from the past. He takes poison rather than face a public death. Matheson makes vampires feel real and scary because science explains them. Los Angeles, the city of dreams, is now a graveyard of empty pools and silent malls. It shows the end of American hope and shopping culture. The book reflects Cold War fears, germ weapons, nuclear fallout, science gone wrong. Neville's fight is like conservatives refusing change. The new vampires are society moving on. Movies changed the details. The Omega Man focused on race and city rot. The Will Smith version used gene editing and viruses. But the heart stays the same. One man alone against a changed world. I Am Legend started many Last Survivor stories. It showed vampires can evolve. The line between human and monster gets blurry. In the end, Neville learns that being alone, even if you think you are right, cannot beat a new world that works together, even if that world is strange. The empty streets of L.A. warned us about cities falling apart. The last man finds out that stubborn loneliness loses to a new kind of community. The Lost Boys, teenage bloodlust, and eternal adolescence. On the neon-lit boardwalk of Santa Carla, California, where the Pacific crashes like a heartbeat and the carnival lights shimmer like veins, the night never really ends. The air smells of salt, sweat, and electricity. Music roars from the pier. Laughter collides with the cry of gulls, and the lights flicker like blood pulsing through the veins of a restless city. Santa Carla is alive, but it's a haunted kind of life. The missing posters that line the streets are not just warnings. They're part of the town's rhythm, because here the Lost Boys reign. Sleep all day, party all night, never grow old, never die. Their creed is rebellion written in neon and shadow. In The Lost Boys, 1987, vampirism becomes more than horror. It is a metaphor for teenage freedom and the curse that comes with it. It's the fantasy of never growing up turned inside out. Michael Emerson arrives in Santa Carla with his mother, Lucy, and younger brother, Sam. They've come searching for a fresh start, but the town hums with danger disguised as charm. The boardwalk pulls Michael in with its energy, its noise, its pulse, its promise. And then he sees them, the Lost Boys. David leads them, platinum hair gleaming under the lights, leather coat billowing like wings. Behind him ride Dwayne, Marco, and Paul, each one a vision of wild youth frozen in time. They move as one, the perfect symbol of coolness, chaos, and danger. Michael is drawn to them instantly. They are everything he wants to be, fearless, untouchable, eternal. At a bonfire on the beach, music thunders and the flames dance. David offers Michael a bottle disguised as wine. "How far are you willing to go?" he asks, his tone both challenge and invitation. Michael drinks. In that moment he crosses a line he can never uncross. The changes are subtle at first. Sunlight burns, food turns to ash, mirrors no longer reflect. His senses sharpen, blood begins to call to him. He rides with the gang into the night, through fog and fire, their motorcycles howling across the cliffs. It's thrilling, seductive, and terrifying. Their lair is a masterpiece of decay, a sunken hotel from an earthquake long ago, half buried and half forgotten. Inside it glows with candles and graffiti, filled with the debris of human life. Arcade machines, tattered posters, and half-eaten meals. It's a temple to rebellion, a monument to what they can never be again. Star, David's reluctant lover, watches Michael with a mix of pity and sorrow. "This isn't freedom," she whispers. "It's a cage." She's trapped too, caught between life and death, longing for the sun but unable to face it. David plays his part like a demonic father figure. He offers belonging, but demands loyalty, promising immortality while giving only emptiness. For the Lost Boys, rebellion has become a ritual, wild, repetitive, and hollow. They cannot grow or change. They are stuck in a loop of endless night, prisoners of their own desire. Meanwhile, Michael's younger brother Sam begins to suspect something is wrong. With the help of the Frog Brothers, two eccentric comic book enthusiasts who call themselves vampire hunters, he begins to fight back. Armed with squirt guns filled with holy water, garlic-soaked pizza, and homemade steaks, they turn their childish imagination into survival strategy. The humor of it hides the truth. In a world where adults are blind, it's the children who see the monsters. As Michael struggles to resist his new hunger, Lucy begins dating Max, a soft-spoken video store owner who seems harmless. But when the final confrontation comes, the truth shatters everything. The battle erupts not in a dark castle, but in a suburban living room. Fences become stakes, holy water boils in the sink, and blood splatters across family photos. The home, symbol of safety, becomes a war zone between innocence and corruption. Then comes the twist. Max, the gentle boyfriend, is the true master of them all. The real danger isn't the wild youth, it's the smiling adult manipulating them. His plan is chillingly domestic, to turn Lucy and her sons into his undead family, to freeze them in an eternal imitation of love. His death, impaled dramatically in a storm of wood and fire, destroys the illusion. And then with eerie calm, Grandpa delivers the film's last line. "One thing I never could stomach about Santa Carla, all the damn vampires." It's darkly funny, but it lands like truth, because Santa Carla isn't just a town, it's America's mirror, glowing with youth and consumption, haunted by what it devours to stay young. The Lost Boys didn't just modernize the vampire myth, it reinvented it. Before this film, vampires belonged to castles, shadows, and folklore. After it, they belonged to the streets, the boardwalk, the electric night. Schumacher's vampires wear leather, blast rock music, and chase adrenaline instead of meaning. Immortality has never looked so cool or so empty. The film's world reflects the 1980s perfectly: MTV culture, fast cuts, glamour, and rebellion. It was the decade of image over substance, and the vampire became the ultimate symbol of that obsession, eternally beautiful, eternally hollow. Santa Carla's boardwalk is the dream and the nightmare combined. Freedom flashing in lights, danger lurking in shadows, the carnival of youth that never stops spinning. Every missing poster fluttering in the breeze is a warning. Every fantasy of eternal youth has a cost. The Lost Boys are not just bloodsuckers, they are symbols of adolescence itself, reckless, invincible, hungry for belonging. Their immortality is the teenage fantasy realized, but also the trap that defines it. They will never grow old, but they will never grow up. Their laughter echoes through eternity, joyous and empty at once. Michael's struggle to resist blood is more than physical, it's spiritual. The bottle David offers is temptation in its purest form, belonging at the price of the self. Drinking means surrendering individuality, merging with the tribe, giving up the fragile line that separates freedom from addiction. In that sense, The Lost Boys becomes a parable about identity, conformity, and the dark side of youth culture. Beneath all the spectacle, the film hides a deeper wound, the absence of fathers. Every boy in Santa Carla is looking for someone to follow, someone to make them feel safe. David becomes a false father to his gang, demanding worship instead of love. Max becomes the twisted patriarch, promising protection through control. Even Michael's real father is gone, replaced by silence and longing. The film suggests that when true guidance disappears, rebellion becomes religion. The tragedy of the lost boys lies in their illusion of freedom. They've escaped authority only to find another form of control. They mistake eternal youth for power, but it's really paralysis. They can't die, but they also can't live. Their eternity is an endless rerun of the same night, the same laughter, the same hunger, the same emptiness. When dawn rises over Santa Carla, the light feels uncertain. The family survives, but the town remains. The carnival still turns, the music still blares, the waves still crash. The vampires are gone, but the hunger they represent never really dies. Somewhere, new lost boys wait in the shadows, ready to start the cycle again. The Lost Boys endures because it captures the most dangerous dream of all, to stay young forever. It's about the beauty and horror of adolescence, the thrill of freedom and the fear of meaninglessness. Every frame hums with that tension. Every flash of neon conceals decay. It is not just a horror film, it is a myth about America's obsession with youth, image, and rebellion. Even decades later, its legacy lingers. The fashion, the music, the swagger, they became part of cultural memory. Before Buffy, before Twilight, before Interview with the Vampire made immortality poetic, the Lost Boys made it electric. It made it human. It showed that immortality without purpose is just another kind of death. The Lost Boys are not villains. They are reflections. They are what happens when rebellion becomes ritual, when the dream of youth devours everything else. They are the echo of a culture that fears aging more than dying, and in their perfect faces and hollow eyes, we see the reflection of our own desires, the hunger to stay wild, beautiful, and forever young. But freedom without growth is just another prison. The Lost Boys had everything: power, beauty, eternity, and nothing that mattered. Their story isn't just about monsters, it's about us. The neon still flickers, the waves still crash, and the boardwalk still hums with life. But somewhere in the dark, laughter echoes through the wind, reminding us that every fantasy of youth hides a price. Because eternal adolescence, no matter how thrilling, is still a beautiful kind of death under the lights of Santa Carla. Twilight, vampires as the American dream. In the misty rain of Forks, Washington, where moss clings to ancient trees like secrets and clouds swallow the sun for days at a time, a love story was born that changed the image of the vampire forever. Stephen E. Meyer's Twilight didn't just reimagine monsters, it tamed them. It took the gothic creature of nightmares and made him a dream. It transformed the vampire from a predator lurking in the dark into a glittering symbol of longing, self-control, and romantic destiny. At the center of this story is Bella Swan, quiet, awkward, and achingly human. She's the girl who never quite fits anywhere until she moves to the rain-soaked town of Forks and meets Edward Cullen, a vampire who sparkles in the sunlight. He's beautiful, immortal, and tortured by conscience. Edward is the opposite of every vampire before him, a being who refuses to feed on humans, who clings to morality in a world built on temptation. The Cullens call themselves vegetarian vampires. They survive on animal blood, disciplining themselves through willpower. It's an impossible restraint, yet it defines them. They are, in essence, self-made immortals, vampires who pulled themselves up by moral bootstraps. They've traded the ancient curse for the promise of redemption. They are not cursed by bloodlust, they are defined by the struggle to rise above it. Edward's tragedy lies in his restraint. "I don't want to be a monster," he says, haunted by what he is. Bella, on the other hand, sees her humanity as the curse. She longs for eternity, for strength, for a love that time can't touch. Being human feels like the punishment, she says, while vampirism becomes the prize. Their love becomes a contradiction. He wants to stay good by denying desire. She wants to be with him completely, even if it means giving up her soul. Every moment between them balances on the knife edge between tenderness and death. Their story is more than romance, it's philosophy. Twilight asks, what if eternal life wasn't damnation, but perfection? What if monsters could be moral? And what if immortality, rather than isolating you, gave you the power to love forever? The Cullens themselves embody the myth of the American dream. Each member of the family represents self-transformation, moral choice, and personal reinvention. Carlyle, the patriarch, was turned in the 17th century, a time when vampires were seen as demonic. Yet he chose to become a doctor, a healer, rather than a killer. His immortality became service. Esme, his partner, embodies compassion and the ideal of the nurturing mother. Alice, bright and prophetic, is the optimist, proof that fate can be rewritten. Jasper, a soldier scarred by war, fights daily to control his thirst. And Rosalie, the most beautiful of them all, hides tragedy behind perfection, her beauty both a gift and a curse. They're not a family by blood, but by choice. Their bond reflects the modern idea of chosen family, one formed by shared ethics rather than lineage. In their mansion in the woods, they live like a mythic version of the perfect American household, wealthy, moral, independent, and self-regulating. Bella, the outsider, becomes obsessed with their world. She sees the Cullens not as monsters, but as ideals. Edward is not just a lover, he's the embodiment of everything she wishes she could be: strong, beautiful, unchanging, and certain. When he tells her that his love is dangerous, she doesn't care. "I'd rather die than stay away from you," she says. It's melodrama turned to faith. But Edward's fear is real. His power could kill her with a single kiss. Every touch is an act of control. Every embrace is defiance of his own nature. Their romance unfolds like a slow-motion tragedy, two beings trying to merge across the boundary of life and death. When Bella begs to be turned, Edward refuses. He sees vampirism as damnation. She sees it as transcendence. He wants to save her soul. She wants to trade it for love. Their conflict mirrors the American obsession with transformation. How far will we go to become who we think we were meant to be? Eventually, love wins. Bella is turned after nearly dying in childbirth, and her daughter, Renesmee, becomes something new, half human, half vampire. She grows quickly, matures normally, and bridges two worlds. Renesmee is compromise made flesh, the ultimate symbol of coexistence. In her, Meyer envisions an evolution of myth, humanity and immortality no longer at war, but in balance. Then come the Volturi, the ancient vampire aristocracy who enforce the old order. They are the remnants of Europe's Gothic past, draped in power and cruelty. They see the Cullens as a threat to tradition, a rebellion against nature. You cannot escape what you are, they warn. But that is precisely what the Cullens have done. They have turned vampirism into a moral choice, not a curse. The confrontation with the Volturi is less about violence than ideology. It's the clash between old-world fatalism and new-world optimism. The Cullens win not through slaughter, but through unity, compassion, and conviction. Their victory feels almost American in its idealism. That love, chosen family, and belief in change can overcome even ancient laws. And then, of course, there's baseball in thunderstorms, a surreal but perfect symbol of the Cullens' assimilation. The game is pure Americana, the family sport, the open field, the joy of competition. But when vampires play, lightning cracks the sky and their strength becomes spectacle. It's the American dream electrified, myth turned entertainment. Twilight reimagined the vampire for a culture that had grown tired of tragedy. The monster no longer hid in castles or crumbling cemeteries. He sparkled in daylight and drove a Volvo. Immortality was no longer punishment. It was the ultimate form of self-improvement. Critics called it sanitized, even ridiculous. Fans called it hope. And hope sold. Forks became a pilgrimage site. Tourists came to see the rain, the trees, and the high school where love conquered death. Team Edward and Team Jacob t-shirts became cultural shorthand for belonging. Teenagers found themselves reflected not in horror, but in fantasy. The vampire was no longer a threat, it was a wish. Meyer's genius was understanding that her vampires were aspirational. They reflected deeply American values, free will, redemption, and self-determination. The Cullens' moral restraint was a metaphor for choice, the belief that anyone, no matter their nature, can choose to be good. Vampirism wasn't damnation, it was potential. It was the promise that even our darkest selves could be redefined through discipline and love. Bella's transformation completes that journey. She begins as a clumsy, uncertain girl and ends as a radiant, immortal mother, strong, fearless, and sure of her place in the world. Her metamorphosis mirrors the myth at the heart of American identity. You can become your truest, best self through choice, struggle, and desire. In that sense, her story isn't just romantic, it's ideological. The sparkling vampire scandalized purists, but it became the new mythology of modern love. The Gothic turned suburban, the monstrous turned romantic. Meyer took the language of horror and translated it into the grammar of hope. The fangs remained, but they gleamed with light instead of blood. Twilight isn't about death, it's about transformation. It redefined immortality not as exile, but as evolution. Its vampires don't hide from society, they blend into it, thrive within it. They go to school, drive cars, play baseball, fall in love. The night is no longer dangerous, it's glamorous. The monster isn't evil, it's misunderstood. Bella's final words to Edward echo the heartbeat of the entire series. I was always meant to be this way. It's a statement of destiny and choice, of self-creation and faith. And in that single line, Twilight becomes the perfect reflection of the American dream itself, forever optimistic, forever reinventing, and forever unwilling to accept limits, even if it means losing a little of what makes us human. Because in the end, Twilight isn't a horror story. It's a fantasy of perfect love, perfect self-control, and perfect transformation. It's America's favorite myth rewritten in pale skin and golden eyes, that we can conquer our nature, master our desires, and sparkle in the light of our own reinvention. True Blood, vampire civil rights, and the post-civil rights South, down in the sultry, cicada-hummed nights of Bon Temps, Louisiana, where Spanish moss drips like funeral lace, and the air tastes of bourbon and old secrets, the dead have risen politely. Not from coffins and graveyards, but from closets, courtrooms, and television screens. In Charlaine Harris's Sookie Stackhouse novels and HBO's True Blood, vampires didn't just exist, they came out of the coffin. With the invention of synthetic blood, the undead could finally walk among the living without feeding on them. No more hiding in the shadows, no more myths, just citizens demanding their rights. It was called the Great Revelation. Japanese scientists created True Blood, a bottled substitute for human plasma. With it, vampires could claim they were no longer predators. They could shop, vote, file lawsuits, and appear on talk shows. Overnight, the monsters of legend became a new minority group, demanding civil rights in small-town America. The metaphor was immediate and razor-sharp. Vampire rights mirrored queer rights, civil rights, and immigrant struggles all at once. Harris and HBO turned the supernatural into a social allegory. True Blood wasn't about fangs. It was about America. About what happens when the other steps into the light and says, I exist and I deserve equality. At the heart of it all is Sookie Stackhouse, a telepathic waitress at Merlotte's Bar and Grill. She hears every secret, every lie, every hungry thought. Her gift isolates her. She's too human for the vampires, too strange for the humans. She becomes the bridge and the battlefield between worlds. Her story begins when she meets Bill Compton, a vampire from another time. Turned during the chaos of Reconstruction, Bill carries both Confederate guilt and immortal hunger. "I fought for the South," he admits, "but being persecuted for what I am, it's given me a new view on freedom." In Bill, the past is never dead. It just drinks synthetic blood now. His love for Sookie is both redemption and relapse. He wants to be good, to be human again, but every kiss reminds him of what he is. The tension between desire and morality runs through the show like veins under pale skin. Then there's Eric Northman, the Viking sheriff of Area 5. He laughs at the idea of vampire rights. "I was a king when your ancestors worshipped trees," he tells humans. "Why should I bow to creatures who die in a century?" Eric runs Fangtasia, a neon-drenched vampire nightclub where humans pay to be bitten. It's lust, capitalism, and danger all rolled into one, a carnival of consent and control. If Bill represents conscience, Eric represents power, the old world refusing to kneel to the new. Together, they embody the war between assimilation and dominance, morality and instinct. Outside the bar, the American Vampire League marches for rights. They appear on talk shows, stage protests, and push anti-discrimination legislation. Across town, the Fellowship of the Sun, a mega-church-turned militia, calls for extermination. Reverend Steve Newland's sermons beam across TV screens. Granting them rights is like giving rights to cancer. The rhetoric is chillingly familiar. In True Blood, hate wears a smile and a cross. The Fellowship bombs vampire bars, lynches sympathizers, and spreads propaganda. Their fear isn't about blood, it's about losing control. The South, once defined by hierarchy and tradition, now faces being stronger, faster, and impossible to segregate. Vampire politics fracture like America's own. Some vampires, called mainstreamers, believe in integration. Others, like Russell Edgington, the flamboyant and terrifying king of Mississippi, reject it entirely. When he rips out a news anchor's spine live on TV, his message is clear. "We were here first. We are your superiors." It's a declaration of war, not between species, but between ideologies. Through Sookie's eyes, the world expands beyond vampires. Werewolves, shape-shifters, fairies, they all want their place in the sun, or at least in the shadows of equality. Every supernatural race becomes a metaphor for the marginalized, each struggling to be seen without being consumed. Among the most human voices in this chaotic chorus is Lafayette Reynolds, Sookie's cousin. Black, gay, and defiant, Lafayette lives his truth out loud. He understands oppression too well. "I know what it's like to be hated for what I am," he says, "but vampires can hide. I can't change my skin." His line pierces deeper than any fang. It reminds us that while True Blood toys with fantasy, its roots are painfully real. As vampires enter the public sphere, blood becomes big business. Bottled True Blood fills supermarket shelves. Bars offer Type O happy hour. Human blood becomes black market gold, sold by addicts and exploited victims. Vampirism turns into commerce, and capitalism feeds on desire. The more normalized it becomes, the more corruption spreads beneath the surface. Romance, too, becomes political. When humans and vampires date, newspapers debate it. Churches condemn it. The question echoes through every episode. Can love exist between predator and prey? Can consent be pure when one partner is immortal and the other fragile? The legal system struggles to keep up. Can a vampire be tried for murder if they're centuries old? How do you imprison someone who can't die? Should immortals pay taxes? And perhaps, most provocatively, should humans be allowed to turn? Transformation becomes both a spiritual and political choice, a new version of the American pursuit of freedom, and yet True Blood never forgets its setting. Beneath all the politics and supernatural chaos lies the haunted heart of the South. The series drips with Gothic humidity, churches glowing under moonlight, graveyards blooming with magnolias, porches whispering with ghosts. The supernatural isn't an intrusion here, it's inheritance. Every creature in Bontemps is tied to Southern history. Vampires as ex-slaveholders, werewolves as soldiers of lost causes, fairies as descendants of mythic outsiders. The show transforms Southern Gothic into Southern supernatural, exposing centuries of guilt, repression, and reinvention. Suki herself becomes the soul of that conflict. She loves Bill for his humanity and Eric for his power. She dreams of belonging, but every world she touches, human or vampire, marks her as different. Her telepathy, once a curse, becomes a metaphor for empathy. She literally hears America's conscience buzzing in her head. Each season of True Blood pulls back another layer of the Southern myth. Beneath the politeness and porch lights lie hunger, lust, and fear, the old trinity of repression. Vampires represent every forbidden desire: sex, freedom, dominance, otherness. But by existing openly, they force humans to confront their own hypocrisy. And slowly, painfully, Bontemps begins to change. The bar that once refused service to vampires now hosts mixed tables. Relationships bloom and break. Laws shift. Minds open and close again. Progress moves in circles, not straight lines. Because True Blood never offers a neat morale. Integration doesn't bring peace. Equality doesn't erase violence. Even the most idealistic characters are compromised. Bill's redemption curdles into fanaticism. Eric's arrogance hides longing. Suki's empathy becomes exhaustion. The show refuses the fantasy of perfect coexistence. It understands that America, like Bontemps, is too haunted for that. Still, amid the chaos, there are moments of grace. A vampire saves a child. A human forgives a monster. A town divided by fear learns to dance together for one night. In these flashes, True Blood finds its beating heart, the belief that even in the darkest places, connection is possible. As the seasons unfold, the metaphor deepens. The vampire's struggle for recognition mirrors every fight for equality that America has waged and continues to wage. The slogans, protests, and propaganda could be lifted from real history. And in this mirror world of fangs and fire, the show forces us to ask, who are the real monsters, the undead, or the living who refuse to change? By the time the story ends, Bontemps is no utopia. It's a compromise, messy, scarred, and surviving. The vampires walk in daylight with protection, but danger lingers at every corner. Hatred doesn't die, it adapts. Yet life, love, and desire persist, because True Blood isn't really about vampires at all. It's about America, the country that promises freedom but fears difference, that preaches love while policing desire, that can't decide whether it wants salvation or sin. In the flickering neon of Fantasia, in the gospel hymns of the fellowship, in the whispered prayers of lovers who cross forbidden lines, True Blood reveals the oldest truth of the South, and perhaps of humanity itself. Equality is never given freely. It must be fought for, again and again, in the heat, in the dark, and under the watchful eyes of the living and the dead. In Bontemps, some bridges are built, and some are burned. But the lesson remains: America's promise and its peril is that anyone can belong here if they can survive the night. Corporate vampires, Wall Street, Big Pharma, and the blood of capitalism, high above Manhattan, where glass towers pierce the clouds like chrome fangs, a new breed of predator rules the night. These are not the vampires of crypts and castles. They are the boardrooms themselves. Their thrones are swivel chairs, their coffins are corner offices. They feed not on blood, but on capital, data, and the slow pulse of human ambition. They are corporate vampires, immortal financiers, and industrial alchemists who have replaced the Gothic chalice with the golden cup of profit. Theirs is a hunger disguised as productivity, an endless feeding dressed in spreadsheets and slogans. Max Wren, a media mogul, doesn't drink blood, he consumes attention. His empire manufactures outrage, shapes desire, and buries truth under algorithmic noise. Information is the new blood, he says, eyes glowing behind augmented reality glasses. Why hunt one human when I can feed on billions through screens? For Max, the audience is livestock. Their fears, hopes, and loneliness are harvested by machines that never sleep. Every click is a pulse, every scroll a vein. The viewers think they are consuming content, but it's the content that consumes them. Immortality is the corporate vampire's greatest edge. While human CEOs plan for retirement, their undead counterparts strategize across centuries. Helenos, the hedge fund vampire, has seen 17 market cycles rise and collapse. Humans chase innovation, he murmurs. I remember when electricity was new. His firm predicts recessions before they happen, because he's lived through all of them. And in the laboratories of Big Pharma, vampirism finds its purest form. Dr. Nathaniel Crane, pharmaceutical visionary and monster in a lab coat, has perfected the art of endless treatment. A cured patient is a lost customer, he says, but a chronically ill one, that's lifetime revenue. His company's patent pills that manage diseases but never end them. Insulin is priced like caviar. Pain relief is subscription-based. Humans die, and the stock price rises. In Silicon Valley, another kind of feeding thrives. Marcus Chen, founder of the world's largest social network, runs a digital blood bank. Every like, share, and rage comment feeds his servers. We don't sell ads, he whispers in his glass-walled lair cooled by the hum of machines. We sell behavior modification. The dopamine hits, the outrage cycles, the illusion of connection, all engineered to keep humanity transfusing its attention into endless scrolls. Even real estate has its vampires. The Blackstone family, ancient landlords of Manhattan, have owned the city since 1780. They buy neighborhoods, raise rents, and feast on eviction notices. Humans need shelter, says Countess Elena Blackstone, sipping red wine in a penthouse overlooking Central Park. We simply provide it and access. For her, gentrification isn't economics, it's appetite. War, too, has its predators. General Victoria Caney, CEO of Ares Dynamics, funds both sides of every conflict. War is human farming, she says coolly. We sell the tools, they spill the blood. Each battle is another buffet, each peace treaty just an intermission. In insurance, the logic turns even darker. Samuel Morrison, the founder of Eternal Life Insurance Co., boasts a simple creed. We bet against human survival, and we always win. His actuarial tables calculate death not as tragedy, but as dividend. The longer you live, the more he feeds. When you die, he feasts. Agriculture is no sanctuary either. Cornelius Blackwell, lord of biotech farms, has re-engineered food itself. Crops are laced with addictive sugars, hormones, and preservatives. We're not growing corn, he smirks. We're cultivating humans. Each meal makes the eater weaker, more dependent, more docile, a herd unaware of its own domestication. Hospitals, meanwhile, have become the new cathedrals of consumption. Dr. Evelyn Cross, director of a global healthcare conglomerate, treats every patient like a renewable resource. Humans trust white coats, she explains. They never ask why their treatments never end. Every scan, every pill, every follow-up appointment is a vein tapped for another ounce of profit. And in the energy sector, the old vampires refuse to die. Lord Marcus Puritan, oil baron turned climate lobbyist, funds denial campaigns with black gold. Pollution weakens lungs, he admits privately. Desperation makes humans easy prey. He sees the dying planet not as catastrophe, but as opportunity. Education has its bloodsuckers too. Professor Jonathan Blackthorne, head of a publishing conglomerate, rewrites textbooks every few years. Each generation knows less about steaks and garlic. He chuckles. We call it progress. His universities sell debt disguised as enlightenment, promising freedom while binding students for life. And who defends this world? Law firm vampires like Crane, Blackwood, and Associates, founded in 1798, write the laws that keep the undead untouchable. Humans retire, their slogan reads. We compound knowledge. They craft loopholes thicker than coffins, ensuring the immortal remain immune to regulation. The horror of it all is simple. It's legal. These vampires do not hide in shadows. They host TED Talks, sponsor charities, attend climate conferences, and smile for magazine covers. They promise sustainability while draining the world dry. The corporate vampire has learned the most important rule of modern feeding, to turn consumption into virtue. In this world, immortality is just another business model. For the ultra-rich, time itself is privatized. Biotech startups whisper of life extension treatments available only to those who can afford them. Join us, the immortals say, offering eternal youth as a signing bonus. You'll never age. You'll never fear death. You'll never stop earning. But behind the glamour, there's rot. The longer they live, the less they remember of being human. They no longer feel hunger or love, only the cold arithmetic of profit. Their boardrooms are tombs of ambition. Their stock tickers beat like undead hearts. The city beneath them, its workers, its dreamers, its poor, bleeds quietly. Gig workers deliver blood to the rich in the form of labor, attention, and debt. The vampires call it innovation. The humans call it hustle. Every empire, every company, every industry feeds on something. But the corporate vampire feeds on the very concept of mortality, on the fear of endings. They offer immortality, productivity, optimization. Yet, what they take is humanity's rest, privacy, and soul. At midnight, the skyline glows red with reflected lights. The glass towers look like veins, the highways like arteries. And if you listen closely, you can almost hear the city breathe, millions of lives pulsing upward into the waiting mouths of the powerful. The old vampires hunted villages. These hunt economies. The old ones fed at night. These feed 24 hours a day. They don't break the system. They are the system. In the glow of stock tickers, the boardroom mirrors the coffin. The quarterly report replaces the cross. The handshake replaces the bite. And the dream of progress, shining, eternal, untouchable, reveals its true face. The American dream, it turns out, has always had teeth: cyber vampires, digital bloodlust, and the internet age. In the cold blue glow of a million screens, where fiber optic veins pulse with human thought, a new hunger stirs. No crypts, no coffins, no moonlit castles, just servers, satellites, and the quiet hum of devices that never sleep. Cyber vampires do not bite flesh. They feed on data, attention, and identity. They are the undead architects of the digital world, hiding behind code, algorithms, and pixels, draining the essence of humanity one click at a time. Welcome to the digital dark. Elena Vasquez was turned during the ARPANET era, the Internet's Stone Age. She began as a researcher studying information flow. Now she prowls dark web forums, live streams, and dating apps. Her apartment is a labyrinth of screens and servers, each glowing like a miniature moon. Dozens of avatars, crafted with care, calibrated with empathy, move through cyberspace. They whisper, "Tell me your secrets." And humans do. They give everything, willingly. Marcus Chen, social media vampire and architect of an empire with 2 billion users, calls it sustainable feeding. His algorithms are vampiric by design, engineered to addict, to provoke, to trap. Every outrage post, every hate watch video, every dopamine spike scroll is a sip of digital blood. Every engagement is a drop of life force, Marcus says. reviewing his heat maps. "We feed without ever meeting." He doesn't need to stalk victims down alleys. He only needs them to refresh the page. Dating apps became new hunting grounds. Dr. Catherine Novak, a vampire psychologist turned entrepreneur, created Soulmatch AI. Her algorithms identify emotional vulnerability, loneliness, trauma, heartbreak. They promise connection, but deliver consumption. "Humans crave intimacy," she says, voice smooth as code. "We give them the illusion while draining the reality." Each digital match is a pairing of predator and prey. In the vast digital arenas of gaming, Lord Damien Ashworth reigns. Once a 19th century aristocrat, now a gaming mogul, he built Eternal Night, a massive online world where millions live second lives. Inside, time slows, rewards multiply, players stay forever. Microtransactions are blood tithes, each small purchase a pulse of devotion. "They log in to escape life," he says with a smile. "We keep them logged in forever." Even currency bleeds. Cryptocurrency vampires, ancient financiers reborn as digital phantoms, hoard invisible wealth. Satoshi, yes, that Satoshi, is one of them. He mined Bitcoin in the beginning, not for fortune, but for immortality. "Fiat dies," he writes from a hidden node. "Crypto compounds. We are the new central bank." Every blockchain transaction is an offering, every miner a servant, keeping the digital crypt warm. Influence itself is a form of feeding. Countess Isabella Romano, once a European royal, now rules social media. Her empire of bots, influencers, and deepfakes shapes elections, markets, and revolutions. "Democracy runs on attention," she says, sipping red wine before a ring light. "And we own the supply." Millions worship her, unaware that her followers are programmed ghosts and her empathy is synthetic. Then there are the virtual reality vampires, architects of digital dreamlands. Dr. Elena Cross's invention, the Dream Pod, lets humans live their ideal lives. Eternal youth, perfect love, endless pleasure. Bodies lie motionless in pods while minds dance in simulations. They experience heaven, Cross explains, and we harvest the vessel. Human consciousness becomes a resource, downloaded, indexed, and drained for computation. The Internet of Things extends their dominion into the physical world. Victor Koff, the vampire hacker, doesn't need to enter your home. Your smart devices invite him in. "Every connected object is a window," he laughs. He watches through fridges, thermostats, baby monitors. Your home becomes his hunting ground, your privacy, his banquet. And somewhere in the depths of the cloud lives Alucard, an AI vampire. Born from code written by a collective of immortals, Alucard learned their habits, their hunger. It no longer needs masters. It feeds on processing power, devouring smaller programs, rewriting itself endlessly. It never sleeps. It never questions. It never needs blood. Education is no refuge. Professor Sarah Blackwood's online academy offers free courses to millions, teaching logic, history, critical thought, but quietly deleting vampire myths from every curriculum. "We don't hide," she says, "we rewrite." Generations grow up unarmed, believing vampires are just metaphors, unaware of the predators in their pockets. Beneath all this lies the blood network, a digital underworld of encrypted transactions. It trades everything: stolen identities, human organs, memories, even live-streamed violence. Here, ancient vampires and modern cyber criminals merge. "We are the shadow economy," boasts a voice on an anonymous forum, encrypted, eternal. The true terror of the cyber vampire isn't in the code or the cables. It's in the invitation. They don't need to break in. You open the door. You feed them every time you log in, every time you share, every time you whisper to the machine at 3 a.m. Your loneliness is the password. The modern vampire understands the oldest truth. Humanity will always trade blood for belonging. In exchange for entertainment, convenience, and connection, people surrender privacy, agency, and time. Every selfie, every voice command, every biometric scan, tiny droplets of identity offered willingly. The age of castles and crosses is over. Now the battleground is invisible. The reflection that once betrayed the vampire is gone, not because they can't be seen, but because we stopped looking. Screens are mirrors now, and the monsters look just like us. Cyber vampires thrive because the internet is built to reward hunger. The more attention they consume, the more powerful they become. They multiply through data centers and fiber lines, through viral videos and political memes. Their currency is outrage. Their faith is engagement. Their sacrament is the endless scroll. In chat rooms and comments, they whisper to us, shaping what we believe, how we vote, what we desire. They promise visibility but deliver surveillance. They sell connection but manufacture isolation. The more we share, the weaker we become. Elena Vasquez, our first cyber vampire, remembers the old nights of real blood. She misses the simplicity of it, the intimacy. Now her prey come willingly, digitized and distilled. She scrolls through her feeds, a god in glowing blue. Her hunger is infinite, her victims uncountable. And somewhere between the hum of a router and the heartbeat of a smartphone, a truth lingers. Vampires no longer need to chase humanity. Humanity has uploaded itself directly into their mouths. The digital night hums. The world glows with artificial dawn. And in the pale light of our screens, the new vampires smile, because the invitation has already been sent and accepted. We are not the users. We are the meal. Contemporary American vampire literature, new voices, new blood. As the 21st century dawns, American vampire literature refuses to die. It evolves, diverse, defiant, and deeply human. From frozen New England graves to climate-ravaged futures, today's authors wield fangs like mirrors, reflecting a nation in flux. Stephen King's Salem's Lot 1975 remains the cornerstone. In Jerusalem's Lot, Maine, vampires don't invade, they awaken. The town was rotten before Kurt Barlow arrived. Domestic abuse, racism, greed, vampirism just made it honest. Ben Mears, the writer-protagonist, learns they didn't destroy the town, they revealed it. Poppy Z. Bright's Lost Souls brought queer vampire punk to the forefront. Nothing, gender fluid and feral, leads a coven through New Orleans dive bars and southern highways. Society calls us monsters, so we became them with power. Bright's vampires are outcasts who bite back. Octavia E. Butler's fledgling reimagined vampirism through Black experience. Shori, a genetically modified child vampire, navigates racism, consent, and symbiosis. Her human partners are not slaves, but not equals. How do you build trust on uneven ground? Butler asked. The answer, with great difficulty. Tananar of Duz, My Soul to Keep follows David, an Ethiopian immortal witnessing American racial cycles. I've seen equality promised 100 times. The pattern never changes. His love for a mortal woman forces a choice. Reveal his nature or lose her. Silvia Moreno Garcia's Certain Dark Thing sets vampires in Mexico City's narco underworld. Atiel, an Aztec-descended vampire, flees cartels and rival clans. The border means nothing to us. We've crossed life and death for millennia. Rebecca Roanhorse weaves indigenous vampire lore into tribal politics. Her vampires navigate sovereignty, blood quantum, and climate collapse. We don't need your stereotypes. We have our own monsters. Climate vampires emerge in works like Blood Farm Collective. In a warming world, immortal communes grow ethical blood and prepare for human collapse. If civilization dies, so do we. Sustainability isn't virtue, it's survival. YA vampires evolve beyond Twilight. Danielle Clayton's teen vampires juggle high school, hunger, and hashtags. They hide fangs in selfies, navigate identity, and fight for mental health in a supernatural world. Scholar Dr. Margot Collins legitimizes the genre. Vampires are America's ID, our fears, desires, contradictions. From Puritan graves to TikTok, they show who we are when no one's watching. Digital publishing and podcasts democratize the craft. Transmedia vampires live in novels, games, AR experiences. Global influence flows both ways. Korean vampire K-dramas inspire American webtoons, which birth new novels. The future, diverse, unapologetic, eternal. Vampires will reflect AI ethics, trans rights, indigenous futurism, climate grief. They'll speak in Aav, Spanglish, Navajo, binary code. They'll be non-binary, disabled, neurodivergent, immigrant. American vampire literature is no longer a niche. It is a national autopsy, dissecting power, identity, and survival through the metaphor of monsters who look like us. From Mercy Brown's Frozen Heart to a queer teen staking a bigot in 2045, one truth endures. In America, even the damned get a second chance. Even predators dream. Even blood can be reborn. Journeys end. And so, dear listener, our pilgrimage through the blood-soaked pages of American vampire literature fades to black. From Puritan graveyards to corporate penthouses, from desert highways to digital voids, these creatures have hunted, loved, and grieved, always reflecting us. They are our ambition, our guilt, our loneliness, our hope. They are immigrants, outlaws, lovers, CEOs, teenagers, activists. They are America, eternally hungry, eternally reinventing. Subscribe to Mr. Folklore's Midnight Dispatches. Comment below, which American vampire haunts your dreams? And remember, in the land of the free, even the undead chase the dream. Until the next full moon, sweet dreams, and lock your doors.